Hey, welcome back to our Achievement Hunter series, aimed at charging through the Stormwind gameplay achievements. We've bound the Warrior and Warlock achievements to our will thus far, and this time there are 3 Shaman achievements, which could be an interesting investment opportunity. Let's get into it. This should be interesting. In today's video, we're covering the following 3 Shaman achievements. Debt Forgiveness, encouraging us to unlock 9 or more mana crystals with 1 overdraft. Little Legends, commissioning us to summon 25 legendary minions with tiny toys, and the Brave and the Bolner, ultimately calling on us to trigger battle cries with Bolner a total of 100 times. These don't require that we win games to complete, so we can use peculiar methods for completing these when it makes things more interesting or efficient. All these guides include timestamps for each achievement and deck codes for each deck mentioned in the description below, in case you'd like to skip to one you're looking for. Now, let's start our journey to command the elements. Let's start by making a massive overdraft so that we can ask for debt forgiveness. For this one, our goal is to majorly overload ourselves so that Overdraft deals at least 9 damage. Your friend for doing this achievement, as it gives extra mana to play with while overloading a fair bit, is Lightning Bloom, especially when paired with Diligent Note Taker. The deck we use to complete this one in Wild is this Overwhelming Forgiveness Shaman. It runs Mad Summoner to improve the chances of a full clear with Perpetual Flame to give 7 overloaded mana crystals. Pair that with a couple other overload spells and you've easily got a 9 damage overdraft. To help cycle through the deck quickly and get you the spells you need, Spirit of the Frog is amazing. The questline and Elemental Destruction are helpful to keep you alive, but they aren't vital, so if you don't have them, another draw or cheap overload spell should do just fine. One thing we were able to confirm when completing this is that overloaded mana crystals below 0 still count. So even if it's only turn 5 or 6 when you overload for 9 or more, Overdraft will pull damage from all of them, giving you credit to complete this one. In Standard, it's not quite as easy to pull this off since there aren't quite as many cheap overload cards, and Mad Summoner won't ensure targets for Perpetual Flame. But a couple Diligent Note Takers, Lightning Blooms, and another card or 2 will still get you to 9 mana crystals pretty consistently. This Overdrafted Quest Shaman takes the questline archetype in a low mana control direction with a bit of extra targeted draw with investment opportunity, making it a little easier to pull off the combo a little earlier than a typical questline shaman. Again, if you don't have the questline to complete this in Standard, double Lightning Bloom and Note Takers put you up to 8 overloaded mana crystals very easily, so if you don't have it, you'll still be fine. If you don't have Overdraft itself, I believe it should be available in duels buckets, and it's possible to build quite a powerful overload synergy in duels. You'll just want to avoid the hero power that doesn't let you overload, as then you'll do 0 damage with Overdraft. Not ideal for pulling this off, but good luck forcing your way into Debt Forgiveness. Shall we tackle the most frustrating Shaman achievement next? The Brave and the Bolner took way longer to complete than initially expected. When the expansion arrived, I was really looking forward to infinite damage combos with Yasharj, Circus Medic, and Dunk Tank, only to discover that Hearthstone no longer supports games lasting 10 turns or longer. Yeah. So, if you want to knock this one out, you're going to want to play Bolner a few turns earlier. Before we get into the decks, if you don't have Bolner, Hearth Arena shows him as an option in Arena. I haven't been able to locate a site with updated duels buckets since Stormwind came out, but as he's not on the list of banned discoverability cards with the questlines and Maestra, it should be possible to get him. However, getting him early enough to actually grind through progress on this will be an added challenge if you do go that route. Alright, If you have Bolner and you don't want to tear your hair out or scream your head off at Bolner for hiding in the bottom of your deck 80% of games, it was actually quite impressive the number of times he hid in the bottom 6 cards of my deck when I started this grind, you may want to head over to Wild so that you can pair him with Serenite Chain Gang. While there's no way to tutor Bolner out from your deck, you can ensure you get lots of progress in the games where you do draw him, since he'll summon additional copies of himself when paired with the Chain Gang. We used this Baleful Bolner deck with lots of low-cost Battlecry minions, plenty of card draw, Sphere of Sapience, and Auction House Gavel as the pulls from Cage Match Custodian to improve the chances of drawing Bolner and decreasing the cost of Battlecries to pair with him. Playing Bolner into a Chain Gang followed by a Baleful Banker on Bolner is quite the way to get progress, and can set you up to get absurd progress on this very quickly. We got 25 triggers in one game with this combination. However, I will warn that the win rate with the deck was atrocious, as Demon Seed Warlocks and Secret Mages made up more than half of our matchups, and they destroy this deck unless you get an amazing start. Still, since you can get a ton of progress all at once in the games where you are able to set up a Bolner Chain Gang, this is still what I'd recommend. Though, since we only ever got to play Shudderwalk when he was discounted by Farsight, you could probably swap him for another Auction House Gavel to speed things up even further. If you insist on completing this in Standard, a deck that was pretty fun and a bit more consistent at pulling Bolner after swapping in the Sphere of Sapience is this Toss a Coin to Your Bolner. It uses an Elemental Shaman shell with a bit of extra card draw and a few more cheap Battlecry minions to pair with Bolner. If you happen to draw Bolner early, Mailbox Dancer can give you multiple coins the turn you play him so that you can cheat out a couple extra cheap Battlecry minions early on. A little later in the game, Menacing Nimbus was often a nice reload when paired with Bolner. But Wriggling Horror can also allow you to buff your board for a fair bit of extra burst damage. It's much slower than playing with Chain Gangs, but it is a fun way to play and surprise opponents who were expecting just another Elemental Shaman. Best of luck squeezing lots of value out of Bolner. And now, the simplest of the Shaman achievements, Little Legends. It's RNG based, but since you summon 4 minions per time you play Tiny Toys, you'll most likely knock this one out fairly easily with any deck which Tiny Toys fits into nicely. As we were eager to finish this one after the grind through Bolner's achievement, we played this Elementary Toys deck to ensure we would have Tiny Toys in hand most games when we reach 6 mana. As it's the only spell in the deck, Primal Dungeoneer will be guaranteed to draw it. The rest of the deck is an elemental package with Bogspine Knuckles and Derailed Coasters to capitalize on the minion density in the deck, as well as set up powerful Tiny Toys evolve turns. The deck performed fairly well, overwhelming most opponents with the elemental package long enough for us to play Tiny Toys. To get extra progress in longer games, you could drop the Derailed Coasters for Diligent Note Takers and ensure you get another Tiny Toys in hand. But few games went long enough that we would have been able to play more than 2 copies of Tiny Toys. However, a deck which has performed even better overall, a 71% win rate across 21 games, but doesn't have as targeted of card draw, is the Quest for Tiny Toys. This deck combines Questline Shaman with Bogspine Knuckles and Tiny Toys at the top end. This deck has so many different directions it can go, but unlike most decks with such diverse opportunities, it actually performs very well. We've got a gameplay highlight linked above and in the description in case you'd like to see the deck in action. With this deck, if you wait to play Tiny Toys until after questline completion, Tiny Toys could summon you 7 minions at once, improving the chances of completing this more quickly. It also has Diligent Note Takers as a way to get additional copies. However, we rarely had an empty enough board to get 7 minions from Tiny Toys, and the other spells in the deck just proved much better to pair with Note Taker. So if you're not in a rush to knock out Little Legends and you'd like to play a fun, flexible deck with high potential for wins, you might try this out. Have fun summoning lots of Little Legends. And that's a wrap. If you found this helpful, drop a like. Your command of the like button can stir the algorithm into action, helping others to tame these achievements as well. And we'll be doing guides for the rest of the United and Stormwind achievements as well, so check back soon or subscribe, because BrewCon knows we've got at least twice as much amazing content coming. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy participating in experiments live, check out our stream at twitch.tv/SSAlchemist. We currently stream on Saturdays and Sundays. And remember, you're awesome. Thank you for watching, and have an awesome day.